everybody, and welcome to my modded Minecraft series. We just reset our server last night to the Feed the Beast Infinity pack that has come out recently. That is the official pack that you can get on the Feed the Beast launcher. We are playing on a private whitelisted server that probably 5 or 6 of us play on normally. We started last night. Got a few things done. We're still in spawn here. Haven't really done too much. A few of us have stuck here in spawn and got a few farms and stuff going. Got our smeltery. We've got a little mine going. Well, what I'm going to do today is I'm going to get a small little starter house set up for us so we have a safe place to store all our gear and kind of AFK and get stuff done. So I'm going to get started on that, and I will bring you guys back as soon as that is finished. Welcome back, guys. We've got a house. Well, more of a little square box. A fancy square box, but it's a square box nonetheless. I didn't want to go too crazy with it. I just wanted something simple to where we can chuck all our hot mess that we've got going on over there inside here. Basically, just stairs going around with a bit of glass in the middle. We have chisel blocks here. Set into carpenter's blocks with glowstone on them. If you've never seen this, they're pretty cool. It's an easy way to hide stuff away. You make carpenter's blocks, stick one in there, choose whatever block you want, just right click there, and if you shift and right click on it, it will add the glowstone dust, and it's an easy way of hiding lighting. So we've got all that going on. Whiskers is logged on about 10 minutes ago. He is pounding away at Botania. I cannot be asked doing it, so I've left it alone, but he's got his Man of Steel armor already. He's nicking away at that. He has made me a ring of magnetization. If I mumbled through that, I apologize, but I'm not going to try and say it again. Basically what it does is if you get anything on the ground, it will automatically pick it up. So if we drop that, you can see here in a second, this should pick up automatically. Yep, there it goes. Sorry, bit of lag there. That is pretty cool. That should make stuff really easy for building and all that. What we've got going on next is bringing all of these chests and our furnace here. This is a Steve's workshop. I'll show you that in a minute when we move it through there. But basically it is 4 different inventories that you can choose. You can see he's making stuff up there in the crafting table. We have a furnace here, and then another, I think this is another high-powered furnace that we've got going there. It holds all of its charge, so if you could stick anything in there, you could throw your old wooden tools in there and it'll just add it to the charge. He has got upgrades in there. We've got a solar power generator going in there, so it'll use up sun energy, or solar energy, excuse me, to power your furnaces and all that stuff. Or you could just keep pounding coal in there for when it's dark. But that's a whole another thing right there. We'll explain that later on. Maybe we'll get Whiskers to come around and show us. We'll jump in TeamSpeak or something. So what I've got going on now is I need to move all of this crap that we've got inside here. So I'll go ahead and do that. I'll bring it back when I start setting up Steve's Factory Manager, because I think it's a really awesome way of organizing your stuff early game. It's very, very cheap to make. If you go in here, what is it, Factory Manager, we'll just put Factory, that's going to bring up all Steve's stuff. Manager, right. So the Factory Manager is really easy to make. It's some iron, a bit of redstone. You also need the inventory cable, which just takes a bit of gold. So I think it was 2 for that size. So 4 pieces of gold, a bit of iron, and you get 8 cables, and that should be plenty for what we've got right now. So I've already got all that built because I did that last night real quick. We've got our Factory Manager there, and the cables running back behind it, and all the chests are connected to it. So we just dump everything. That's not that chest, it's this chest. You dump everything in here, and it should automatically put everything that we've programmed into their own individual chests. But I'll go through that and I'll show you how I set all that up as soon as I get everything moved inside our little hut, and we'll be back in a minute. Alright guys, we're back. We're inside here. I've got the Steve's Factory Manager layout pretty much set up. None of these chests have anything in there yet. I'm just going through and trying to get them all organized so I know which ones are which, so when I go to set the variables up, it's all ready to go. I moved the barrels over here and upgraded those to have more capacity, so they can hold more than 64 stacks now. Basically what we're going to have is, this is going to be our dump chest. You go in here, dump all your stuff in here, and it should automatically put everything in the chest according to what type of material it is. I've brought all these other chests that we had out by the water. Oops, he must be doing stuff then. Sorry about that. I've brought all the chests out from the water out there by the lake inside, just so when I go to actually program all this, all I need to do is grab the stuff and dump it in the dump chest, and it should automatically go. I've got a few more slots here. I'm not sure if I want to add a furnace or not, or if I'm going to need more storage. I'm not quite sure how much storage we're going to need, but we have quite a few diamond chests here already, so that should be alright. We should have plenty of space. Whiskers is setting up these workshops. I don't know too much about him, so we'll just kind of let him do his thing and we'll have a look at it when it's finished. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to go through here and program the factory manager. I'm not going to go through in detail on how to do all that because it could be quite boring and there's plenty of other videos out there. I will show you after I have it all programmed though what I've done and why I've done it, just to kind of show you how to get this kind of early system set up. So I will be back in a minute when I get all that programmed into there then. Catch you guys in a bit. Okay guys, I wanted to show you the first chain that I have set up just to kind of give you an idea on how you do this. We have our dump chest here, right? And if we go into our factory manager, I have the first chain set up. This is just a trigger. If you create a trigger, what will happen, it'll check on intervals whatever you set. So you could set this to 10 seconds, you could set it to whatever you want. So I have that on every second. The trigger is going to check to see if there's anything in this input chest, in our dump chest, and that is just an input. You create one of those, and if you go in here you can rename it. So that is all that is, and I've renamed that to dump chest. So that is coming from down here on the end. And what it's going to do is it's going to check every second from the trigger if there's anything in this dump chest, and it's going to grab whatever's in this dump chest and put it in whatever output that you set. So I've set this output to our first barrel here that we have on the ground, which is going to contain our dirt. So really quick, you have your trigger, which is going to check every second to see if there's anything in the dump chest, and if there is, what it's going to do is it's going to output it into our output, which I have set for the barrel. And if you go down to items, I've whitelisted just dirt. So it's going to check every second if there's any dirt in this dump chest, and if there is, it's going to drop it into that barrel there. So if you see, if I chuck all this dirt in there, it's all going to leave, and it's automatically going to put itself in this barrel. So I'm going to go through and set up all these other barrels for the gravel and cobble and all that. And I basically do the same thing for all the different ores and ingots, or any other items that you want to sort. So if you just go through here, you can go and say I wanted to make it ores. You go through there and it'll pop up, and I just go through and set all the ores. So if we dump any ores into this chest, it'll automatically go into this ores and ingots chest here. So it's really simple sorting. Steve's Factory Manager isn't really something that everybody likes to use because it can be a bit confusing, but if you get into it, you can program it very simply to do some really cool stuff, or you can go pretty crazy for it. So if you haven't used it before, I suggest checking it out. There's loads of videos and stuff and people that can explain it better than I can. So I'll let you guys go again, and I'm going to go through and I'm going to program all these different barrels and chests for all our stuff, and I'll bring it back to show you once all that's done. So I will catch you guys in a bit. So I've got all the different barrels set up. As you can see, I've got the 4 triggers here, one for each of the barrels, the dirt, cobble, gravel, and sand. The inputs are going to be the dump chest. If you look in there, the inventory, I've just set up a variable, which is just the dump chest on the end to make it easier to program that. And the outputs are all the separate different barrels. Inventory, I've just gone through and chosen the barrel for each one. If you look, then that's the second one. This one should be the third one, and so on. Also, what I've done is I've gone through on the items, made it for a white list. One of them is dirt, one of them's cobblestone, gravel, and so on. So what that's going to do is, again, you just dump everything in there, and it should take anything that's programmed out and put it in each individual barrel, as you just saw there. So pretty awesome. Makes things really cool and easy to sort in the beginning game, especially when you've got a bunch of guys playing together, because things can get very disorganized, and that drives my OCD crazy. So that's been my task, is getting this all set up so the other two boys can just come through if they've been mining or doing whatever, dump everything in the dump chest, and it automatically organizes it, and I don't have to worry about going through and doing it every day. So I am going to get all the ores and the ingots and the building materials and all that stuff all organized, so the guys can just come and dump their stuff, and then I can move on to the next project. So I will be back with you guys in a bit once I've done all that. Alright, we're back, guys. I've got, I'd say, half of this programmed in there. I haven't done any of the building materials yet because there's just so many of each thing, so it would take up too much space to go through and do it. So what I might do is just set up just stone stuff to go in there and just wood stuff, and see if I can get it to like use a fuzzy import for it, but I haven't tried that yet. But I do have the mob drops done. Food and seeds and stuff, that's kind of on the same thing. There's so many of each kind that it's kind of hard to program it all in there. It's just a waste of time, really. So let me show you how it works. In here, this is all the barrels these are all the barrels that we had before that we programmed. This is just a variable for the dump chest, so that is just a dump chest. So when I go into any of these, I can just choose that variable, and that'll automatically choose the dump chest for me. We've got our ores and our ingots, so this is our trigger. This is a flow, which will just allow you to do multiple outputs or inputs. You can change these and the splits and all that. So these are going to be all of our ores and ingots. So you see I programmed all the ores and ingots into that one. And this is just an extension of that. All your lapis and all the little peridot stuff, all those are in there. That's just a flow to bring those two together. So basically what you've got is your trigger, which is going off every second, and then this is filtering out all the different items, and that's putting it into the output chest. Same thing with the mob drops. That's going off every second. It's pulling it out of our dump chest, and it's putting it into the mob drop chest. Sorry. So mob drops out of the dump chest into the output chest, and you can see I have all the items all filtered in there as well. So you could do that with everything. If I was to go through and do all the different wood materials, you know, there's a dozen different types of wood, you know, who knows how many different types of stone. So me and the boys are just dumping all our stone and wood stuff in there manually. Same thing with our seeds and plants and all that crap. Mob drops are all programmed in, and then that's just our kind of our food chest. So I'll show you how it works. Let's grab some of these. Let's go with one of each of those, some of this random stuff. Let's see, mob drops, we'll go with some of that random stuff, and if I just dump all that in there, see, it all disappears, and it all goes into the right chest. So we've got our mob drops back in there, ores and ingots have gone back in, and all of the other crap that we've gotten has all gone back in, so that's good. It took me a little while to get it all sorted. It takes a bit to go through each individual item and put it through. So I'll show you how to do that. If you just go to your output, your items, if you click on one of these, say you've got like your gunpowder, you'll just type in gunpowder there, and it should come up, and you click it. And then it gets added into the whitelist. You could do blacklists as well. So say you wanted everything but stone to go in there, then everything but stone would go in there. Kind of simple stuff if you've played modded before. If you've used the inventory manager before, then this will look like a mess to you. If you haven't used it before, then it'll be confusing as anything. But I suggest watching a couple videos. There's ones that focus on the inventory and the factory manager, just that. It's a pretty cool mod. I'd get into it if I were you. All of these are, we've got coal blocks and redstone blocks. Basically what that is doing is it's seeing if there is any redstone or coal in here, and if there is, it's crafting it into a block and then dumping it into the chest. So here, well, we'll do this. I'll show you. If I was to go like that, you get all your redstone out, dump all of that into our dump chests, and every 10 seconds it'll check. So you'll see here in a minute it'll disappear. See, there it goes, and it should all be in our ore and ingots, but in black into blocks. So that should save us some space, so we don't have just redstone and coal all over the place. That's basically the same thing. So you've got your trigger, which is going off every 10 seconds, your input that's coming from the dump chest. You get an auto crafter here that you add that just into the chain, and then your output into whatever chest you want. You just go in here, you choose what you want to craft, it'll automatically craft it, and then you choose any excess inventories. So say you had 10 pieces of redstone, it would use 9 to craft the block and then put that extra bit into that diamond chest with it as well. So pretty cool stuff. Alright guys, sorry for that hard cut. It's the next morning and I was going through the footage from yesterday, trying to put the first episode together, and I realized that I cut pretty quickly at the end of doing a few of these. At the time I had been messing with it for an hour or so trying to get it all moved in here and programmed, and to be honest I couldn't be asked going through and programming all the other things. But I did end up doing that. I went through and watched a couple YouTube videos and sat on TeamSpeak and stuff with the guys and had a bit of a chat and programmed it while I was doing other stuff. So if you look in here you'll see there's a lot more going on. We've got our 4 barrels that we had before, so none of that has changed. We have our redstone and our lapis and our coal block. I just explained that, but I did add lapis block to it as well. So it's checking every second to see if there's any redstone in there out of the dump chest, and then it's crafting it into a redstone block and then putting it into the output chest. It's doing that for the lapis and the coal as well. Ores and ingots haven't changed at all. You've got your ores out of the dump chest and into the output. Same thing with your stone, your wood, your plants, seeds, and food. That is all done. I just gone through and whitelisted all the different stone stuff. So that is finished. Same thing with the wood. See, that's all done. And what I had done with the plants and seeds, because there's so many, I've gone through and just put most of the seeds and stuff that you pick up, like walking around in the world from hitting grass and all that type of stuff. I've also done any type of saplings that we're likely to find in this area. I didn't go through and do all of them because I ran out of space, and you only get a certain amount of items that you can whitelist in here, and I don't know how to add more items to that chain without making one of these flow controls, which is what this is and what this is. Those are flow controls that allow you to have multiple inputs or outputs. So that's why there's 2 dump chests here, is because I had too many ores and ingots to fit in there. So we ran out of space there, so I had to go through and make another input for it, and that's all those there. So that's why there is 2 on the ores and ingots, because there were so many. So I didn't want to have to go through and do that for all the other ones, so I've only put the stuff that we're likely to use in spawn into those separate chests. So those chains are all done. You've got your dump chest. That is just a variable for when I'm going through and programming it, that I could just pick dump chest real quick while I'm doing that. So that is all finished. It's a thing. It's pretty awesome. Now you can come in here. I mean, even all the food and stuff is done. So if we grab all this, we'll grab some of this, and no, that string's not done because I don't even know where you get that from. Regular string and all that should be done. Wood materials, we'll go through and grab all that. Building, we'll go stone, and ores and ingots, obviously. I showed you guys this a little earlier on, but I'll just do it one more time so you can see that it is all finished. See, all done. If it's not programmed in yet, what'll happen is when you dump it in there, it'll, or maybe I did go through and I did go through and program that in there. I know this one's not done though. So you'll see that should stay in here. So anything that isn't programmed will stay inside this dump chest, and then that way what I could do is I can come around if I see something in here and be like, right, I need to go and add a miniature heart to the mob drops. So we'll go in here, go to where'd the mob drops go? There they are. We'll go to dump chests. Actually, it's in the output. I put him in here. So we'll go through, we'll click on this, and we'll type in heart. And then let's try miniature, since that's going to bring up too many different things. 550i. So we'll go in here and we'll put miniature heart. That should pop up. Or not. Did I spell that wrong? I did. You know what? Let me check. That wasn't miniature heart, wasn't it? Yes, I did spell that wrong. Sorry. I make all the English. So we'll go into items down here. Miniature. There you go. There they are. Right. So I'll click on that and add that into there, and that should already be out of the dump chest. Yep, it's gone. So if we check real quick, just to double check and to show you guys, miniature heart, that's gone. So that's how you program any extra things that you don't have in there already. And that's kind of why I went through and labeled all the triggers. So that's what all these are: the ores, ingots, stone, wood, plant seed. All these top ones are just triggers. I just label them so I know which chain is which, so that when I am reprogramming something back into there, I can just come down here like I did with the mob drops and say, right, I need to add miniature hearts, and it makes it pretty easy to do. So that is finished, and I am ecstatic that it's done, because it probably took me 2 or so hours just to go through and program all this and get it all cleaned up and get it working to where the guys can just come in and dump their stuff. So that's awesome. Like I said before, the inventory manager is a really cool kind of early game mod that you can use to organize your stuff, and you could get really crazy with it. You can add furnaces. I've used these for tree farms before, to where it will pull all the saplings out of the chest that's coming from the tree farm, put those in a barrel, then it'll put a certain amount of logs into a furnace to make charcoal to power itself. So you can get really, really in-depth and complicated and make some really cool stuff. Or you can be simple like this and just use it to organize your stuff. I say simple. I probably made it look really confusing. But once you start getting into the inventory manager and you understand the basics of it, it's a really cool mod, and it's very powerful, and I think it's one of the most underrated ones. I never really started using it until we started playing Mod Sauce. So now that I know it, I want to use it for everything. I get all these ideas for it, so it's really, really, really cool. But I will leave it at that, because I have been going on quite a bit about the inventory manager. It's probably 20 minutes of me explaining all of this and organizing it and getting it all ready, and you guys are probably sick of me talking about it. So what I'll do is I'll show you what else we did last night, and then I will call it that for the episode. Like I said, it's the next day, so I've got some other stuff that I want to get recorded and set up for the next episode. So we'll go through and I'll show you. Not much done. I brought some cows and sheep over. Whiskers has got the farms and stuff going on. He's got his Botania thing here. I think this is a agricarnation, which is just helping along the tick rate for all your plants, so it makes it grow a bit faster, like bone meal. Don't know how to make it, I'd be honest with you. Like I said before, not bothered with Botania, so I'm glad Whiskers is doing it. So he's got all that. We've just got a few more berry bushes and stuff set up, a few pumpkins, basic simple stuff. Our smeltery and all that's going. We've got a hopper coming into the controller, and then coming out of the smeltery into the table making ingots, and from the table into the chest, so that you can auto smelter. This is how we're doing our ores at the moment. We're just dumping everything into the hopper, and it's auto smelting it, doubling it, and then putting it in the chest. I'd like to get some machines in set up. Maybe in the next episode, that's what we'll do. That was kind of my plan for today to get done, is get the power and the machines and all that stuff ready to go. So, like I said before, I think we're going to leave it at that. If you enjoyed the episode, give it a like. You don't need to. I know a lot of people don't like putting likes on there, but help support the new channel. Subscribe to me, because there'll be loads more videos coming out. This is just the first of many. So we'll get through, like I said, in the next episode, we'll get the power and all that stuff set up. So thanks for joining me. If I taught you something about the inventory manager, awesome. If I confused the hell out of you, I apologize. I did my best with it, and hopefully you learned something, and hopefully you learned a new mod that you've got lots of ideas to use in the future. So enjoy the rest of your day, guys, and hopefully I'll see you in the next episode.